Today I'm going to show you how to meal prep 2 different types of meals and a dessert in order to hit 100 grams of protein a day. We'll start with a protein pasta. I've been using this Mrs. Chicky recently. It's got a lot of flavor, so when I mix it up with a half amount of TVP, I don't have to have any type of seasoning. It is really nice. I just add to water and stir. Today I decided to split up my meal prep, so I am doing 1/2 in the morning and 1/2 in the evening. At the end I'll have 7 lunches, 7 dinners, and 7 desserts. I always start the day with a smoothie and I can alternate the snacks. So I like to start by getting the TVP started, mixing it up with some water, and then I get started on the pasta. Get that boiling for a few minutes. I've been using chickpea. That's been really nice lately because my daughter will eat it too. I've experimented, but that has a decent amount of protein for what I need. And then I like to start doing the veggie portion. So lately I've been trying to mix it up between green beans or asparagus. I often have to change it up for my picky eater. I'm in a calorie deficit, so I am really tracking. I like to put it on the food scale, and the easiest way that I've found is to know what I'm starting with, and then I can scoop it out portion by portion. There's lots of different ways. Same thing with the noodles. I just all add it into a pot. I divide it by 7 days, and then that's how I figure it out. There's lots of other ways to do this, but this is the way that I found has been the easiest for me. I had trouble opening the jar, so a trick that I learned from my mom is to put a rubber band around the top. It's sometimes because it's slippery. I will not have enough marinara sauce for 7 days, so I will have to substitute something like barbecue sauce for 2 days. Now with the sauce, you can weigh it out. You can do just like 1/2 cup. I'm trying to be really picky just because there's chunky tomato sauce. So I am making sure that I hit the appropriate amount each time, and I'm zeroing out the scale. It'll go a lot faster if you don't do that. Then I divide up the veggies. This has been my go-to meal. I love it for 26 grams of protein for under 300 calories, and I have 7 days of meal prep in under a half an hour. Tofu mousse. I'm obsessed with making this every week, especially since my daughter loves it too. So I add in some tofu, add some maple syrup, peanut butter, lots of peanut butter. You could substitute PB Fit, but you'll have to thin it out. I also do some cocoa powder, and that's it. I blend it up in the food processor. Occasionally scrape down the sides, and then you'll want to put it into a container and set it in the fridge. I'm happy with 15 grams of protein for this dessert. I decided to pair it with my apple and put some dark chocolate chips on top. And now tofu fried rice. I usually like to keep my meals really simple, but with this tofu fried rice that I learned recently not take me very long to food prep, so I have been sticking with it. I add 2 blocks of tofu for myself, and I like to press it out a little bit. I add a 3rd block for my daughter so that she can have whatever I'm having, but that way I can still weigh out what I have. I like to add a baking dish on top so that it can press out some of the juice. It's been helpful. Then I add about a teaspoon of avocado oil. It's been nice to help with the sticking. I have done so much baking without oil, but I tend to burn, or it has not been working well for me. Then I like to add some garlic. I love the smell in my home after I've been baking this dish. It's so fragrant, especially when I add the ginger. I find that scraping it off with a spoon is really helpful. I tend to cut myself when I've used sharp knives. Then I grate it. I prefer to do it this way so that there's not any big chunks in the dish. I like to grate extra and then keep some extra in the freezer for next time. Want a little beta carotene in there, so chopping up some carrots. Kale is so nice. I hate kale. I can't stand the taste of kale, but when I dice it up nice and fine, I can add it to things, and I find that it doesn't overpower the dish, and I'm able to get in those nutrients. So I give it a little stir. Make sure it gets a little wilted, and then I go and I check on my rice. Rice needs to cool off a bit, so I'm going to dice up some tofu into cubes. You can do whatever way. I find that small little cubes make sure that it cooks faster, and that way I don't have to have it in the oven as long. And I find that the center isn't as raw, gooey, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty particular about my tofu. I like to have it nice and chewy. So I like to set it to 425 on the air fryer. I do it for about a half an hour. I prefer to use firm or extra firm tofu for this. Then I like to give it a little mix, make sure they're not touching, not overcrowding each other. Then I'll work on the sauce with some rice vinegar, maple syrup, I try to be aware of what sugar source I'm using, so something like date syrup, brown rice syrup, or maple syrup is my usual go-to. A little sesame oil for some flavor, and then tamari sauce. I usually like to get this at the bulk at the co-op, which is really nice that I can just put it in a jar. Then I add the rice to all my veggie mix. I like to go with jasmine rice these days. I know brown rice is usually a good one, but I love the flavor. Give it a good stir, and then add in a few teaspoons, a few spoonfuls of the sauce just to give it some extra flavor. Before I add it to the tofu, that's mainly where it goes. I really like to have my tofu taste like something rather than be bland, adding as much flavor as I can. I was running low on time, so I just divided into 7 bowls. I love the end of meal prep day. Now, I did not include my daily smoothie or a couple of my snacks that I change out sometimes, but I will list that below, and like and subscribe for more tips and tricks.